Good evening, Ospreys. Welcome to UNF Homecoming Week. I am your host, Marcel Robinson. Look, things have been a little bit different this time around. As a matter of fact, this has been more of a stay-at-home coming, if you will. But hey, look, as they say in show business, the show must go on. Of course, in a more socially distanced manner. We kick things off on Sunday with the Blue at the Zoo family event that led into Wednesday night, in which we had a UNF Alumni Awards recognition ceremony virtually, where we honored and recognized some of our esteemed UNF alums. That leads us to tonight, Friday night. One of the events that we have on the docket for today is Flashback Friday. We'll be recognizing Emeriti friends, and of course, that will lead us into our pregame show before the basketball game. But that's not all. We have another event for you that you can sign up for. There's still time. You can walk or run at the Swoop Your Loop 5K and Fun Run. Look, that is one of the events that you can get out here. You can support UNF athletics. And speaking of supporting UNF athletics, we have some auction items for you. There's some pretty cool things that you can win, and it's really a win-win for both you and this department, this school, because as you bid on these items, the proceeds go to benefit the UNF athletics department. Such a cool event that we have going on leading up to the basketball game. And speaking of the basketball game, let's get to it. That is, of course, the highlight of UNF Homecoming Week, the North Florida Ospreys men's basketball team. Look, I can remember as a student here not long ago, just seeing how this program has grown from that point to now. The basketball program, the school, the buildings, everything works hand in hand. You can tell there is a greater sense of pride from the students and the alums coming back to watch the games. More UNF Osprey shirts, sweatshirts, hats, memorabilia, and these fans, when able, are super packed. And keep in mind, this is an Osprey men's basketball program that hasn't actually been around that long. The North Florida Ospreys men's basketball team was founded in 1991 and played their first season in the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics. UNF initially had no basketball court, so the Ospreys' first 3 home games were played at Florida Community College of Jacksonville until UNF Arena was finished in 1993. Their first coach was Rich Zvosek.
North Florida had an opening to start a program, and it was such an attractive idea to come in and build something from scratch. I mean, you can count on one hand probably the number of coaches who get that type of opportunity.
In the 1993-94 season, UNF transitioned into NCAA Division II, joining the Sunshine State Conference. As I said, this men's basketball program is still relatively young, but that doesn't mean that there haven't been any historical or monumental achievements. And what better way to explore the history of this North Florida men's basketball team than to chime in with someone who's been around since the very beginning, the former voice of the North Florida men's Osprey team, John Lawrence.
I had the privilege of being the play-by-play voice of UNF athletics for about 20 years, both the basketball and the baseball programs. And I love doing play-by-play and traveling with the team and being a part of the program. And those days with Coach Z, and tell you what, those were some of my favorite times when the program was just getting launched and trying to get started.
When the arena finally opened, we actually had a sellout the first game, and actually gave pieces of the floor as the souvenir, which I think I have about 10 or 11 of them still. But it was a fun time.
We had some pretty decent teams in the early going, contending for conference championships and things like that. And to me, it changed the face of UNF having that basketball program up and running.
In 1996, the Ospreys switched over to the Peach Belt Conference, also Division II. After 6 seasons, Zvosek was succeeded as head coach by former NBA player Sidney Green. Green would only coach the Ospreys for 1 season, and in 1999, Matt Kilcullen became the team's 3rd head coach. North Florida's most notable rivalry is with crosstown opponent, the Jacksonville University Dolphins. The two universities contest the River City Rumble, in which the school with the most wins annually across all sports receives a trophy, the SunTrust Old Wooden Barrel.
It's something about that JU rivalry, no matter what. Like, that was just something you always locked in for because, it's your crosstown rival.
So much electricity in the air, it's hard to not have a little more juice and be amped up about it. You just grow a dislike for the school. In-town cross rivalry, it just builds over time. And all you want to do is beat them as bad as possible.
I still remember my first game against JU. The crowd was electric, just Oh man, the energy in their both arenas was incredible, and it was so good to walk away with a win against JU.
It's intense in there, like, you know what I'm saying? It's loud. It's
like the adrenaline's going to be crazy. The heart's pumping out of your chest for all 40 minutes, whether you're playing or not. That's what made it so exciting. Was people are going to be here and they're going to want to talk about it because it's going to be that special to them and that special to us.
It was such an exciting energy, and oh man, the fans really made it incredible.
The first game between North Florida and Jacksonville University was played on November 23rd, 2004, when JU defeated UNF 78-73. The Ospreys' first win over their crosstown rival came on January 25th, 2006, by a score of 90-78.
Beat them here at home. You know, everybody rushed the court, so it was a great experience. You know, it's crazy. Like, people was painted in blue, so we got back in the locker room, like our jersey. We wore white jerseys. Everybody had like blue paint on our jersey, so it was a pretty cool experience. So we always had that we was the first school to actually, we was the first program here at UNF to beat JU, so that was a great experience.
And I think the attendance for that game was 3,013 people, and that was the most that we ever had in that school in history. You know, so we knew the task that we had to complete at hand, and we knew how special it was going to be. So for us to win that game, for us to start off on that River City Rumble with us beating our crosstown rivals, we knew that, boom, that was the start of something special, and that was going to carry far after we graduated, and that was going to be the foundation for, you know, great basketball in the city of Jacksonville.
UNF began its transition into NCAA Division I competition in 2005, joining the Atlantic Sun Conference. The 4-year transition period between 2005 and 9 was difficult for the Ospreys, who compiled a record of 20 wins and 96 losses, substantially worse than the Ospreys had faced in their previous 6 seasons under Coach Kilcullen.
I mean, it was tough. You know, we coming from Division II school to Division I, so, you know, teams had, you know, better budgets, you know, bigger, stronger, better players than us at that time.
The first year, those games weren't in the 80s or the 70s like you see now. Those games were in the 40s and the 50s. It was like the way that the team had to play the first year was like you had to hunker down and play defense because, to be honest, they struggled to score the ball.
As far as like the level of competition, the teams that we were going to be playing once we initially made that transition to D1, you know, it was definitely something to look forward to. You know, it was definitely competitive. That was our goal. That was our mindset. Once we got to the Division I level, was you know, to make every game as competitive as possible.
The way that UNF basketball has moved from the very first year to now is it's been a big shift. Just the range in order to compete, to do everything you can to try to win. And
once we got a taste of winning, when we won our first Division I game, you know, we're like, okay, you know, we're here. We feel like we arrived, you know, and we were starting something new that we knew that what we were starting was going to carry forward, you know, many years after we graduated.
In 2009, new athletic director Lee Moon relieved Kilcullen of his position and replaced him with former Baylor University assistant coach Matthew Driscoll for the first year as full Division I members.
We knew that it was a diamond in the rough. We knew that once people could find out about us, that this really could be a special place. I hired our staff before we got here, and Coach Kennan met me, and Robert Talley, one of our great supporters, gave us 2 polos. And we wore those same polos, washed them in the sink every night, hung them to dry on a 6-day road trip. And in that road trip, we got Will Wilson, who ended up being one of the greatest point guards to ever play here. Jerron Granberry scored over 1,000 points, one of the greatest players to ever play here. Andy Diaz scored over 1,000 points, one of the greatest players to ever play here. David June started every single game of his career, one of the greatest players to ever play here. A heart of unbelievable, and I played like you wouldn't believe. Brad Hagebrook, starting point guard for 2 years before Will became the starting point guard. And we also got in connection with our Hall of Famer, Parker Smith.
So then I just kind of felt like, hey, this is a new place. It's a fresh start. They're up and come D1 school. Coach Driscoll's first year. He's trying to, change the culture a little bit. And it will be a chance to make myself known as opposed to going to a big school and coming off the bench a lot or not really getting to play a whole lot at an SEC school or something like that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go down there and enjoy school, enjoy the weather, and give Coach Driscoll a shot.
The Ospreys improved under Driscoll, who led them to their first conference tournament appearance in the 2009 season. In the 2011 ASUN tournament, the Ospreys upset JU and East Tennessee State to advance to the championship game. After beginning their Division I era 0-5 against the Dolphins, UNF finally defeated JU in the 2011 ASUN tournament quarterfinals and one of the young program's most significant wins. Unfortunately, UNF was defeated 87-46 by Belmont.
But that group really set the stage and really ended up being 3,000-point scorers on that team.
At the time, that loss to Belmont probably felt like a major disappointment, but bigger than the game was the exposure that UNF gained, of course, being on the national stage. And that, of course, was able to bring in some top talent and produce a special group of North Florida Osprey men's basketball players that were able to leave a historical mark for this program for years to come.
Coach Driscoll kind of contacted me, all throughout my last AAU season, as far as much as he could when coaches are allowed to talk to you, of course. And it was kind of crazy. I knew he really was interested in me when he came out to Vegas, because he said he hadn't been to Vegas in the last 7 years, and it's always a tournament at the time that's like the end of the summer. So a lot of guys are, at the point where they're just burnt out and ready to go home. But Coach D came out there to see me, and I just thought that was really cool. Something I always kept in the back of my head, and he was just really great with communication.
The biggest deciding factor to me was the coaching staff. Coach Driscoll, Coach Evans, Coach Taylor. They are all just, so passionate about bringing me in, and just so passionate about what they were building at the time. I think that was in my junior year of high school. They went to the tournament championship game in the conference against Belmont. And they was like, we've only been here 3-4 years, but we accomplished this much this early. And then we get, some guys like you in, and they're talking about Bo and Cameron Naylor, Aaron. And just feel like something you want to be a part of on the upswing, so to speak. There, I'm always down to build.
What they did recruiting me was just the most sincere and genuine family felt out of any of the schools I went and visited. And, I had probably like 20 different offers. I visited 5 other schools. So, I saw what I wanted to see, and what I liked the most was UNF. I was like, man, this is where I want to play. This is gonna be great. I was at every game, so I felt the atmosphere. I could see that people wanted to be involved with the basketball team, wanted to show support. They were just waiting for those winners. They were waiting for the program to build. And Parker Smith, Andy Diaz, Jerron Granberry, Charles McRoy, Travis Wallace, I can name everybody. They built that foundation, that 2010-2011 season, and 11-12 took it to the next level. And then it was like, okay. And then it just started rolling from there.
One common component amongst all great sports teams is the core. And these players that we just spoke to were able to create a special core with this group of players that were able to do something magical that was really the most historical season for the North Florida men's basketball team.
I can remember like it was yesterday. And we're really good.
We knew we had a chance. It was like, hey, we have some pieces here that can really play. And if we just put it together, it only takes 3 games in March.
On December 6, 2014, they defeated the Purdue Boilermakers on the road, marking their first ever victory over a Big Ten conference opponent.
And for some reason, we just kept stuck around that game. Just, kept it close, 9 points. They go up by 12 and cut it back down to 7.
We're down 7 with about 3:50 to go. And we're up 7 with about a minute to go. Crazy. I turned to Coach Kennan and I said, I think we're going to win.
Let's do everything we've done. Let's execute down the stretch, just be us. We'll give ourselves a chance when we ended up pulling that game out. That's
We said, all right, let's go get it. I don't know what we finished the game at, but we won the game. Probably like a 10-2 or 10-0 run, something like that, and won the game for the first high major win. And that's when we knew this season was going to be special.
And we were just ecstatic. And of course, we used that momentum, just let us know we could compete, we can beat anybody, and it's just solidifies that in your brain. Like, all right, man, we got the talent, we can do this. And that just carried us forward.
They also won the Atlantic Sun regular season title for the first time and posted the best record in team history with 23 wins and 11 losses.
We were just so close, and I think when we got to conference, we just kind of ran away with it, especially our first 6 games, and then we lost the upstate, and then we did the same thing and lost the upstate again. So it was almost like a perfect story, I would say.
That's when we just kept getting closer and closer and closer as friends on and off the court. And it showed come the tournament, in the conference play. We just started rolling.
This place is packed in the lower bowl. It was a super crowd on in Saturday night, almost 4,000. And check out that student section. They are ready to rock and roll.
Stay locked and loaded for 40. Locked and loaded for 40. Like it says on the board. Be who we are. Be who we are. Let's go.
At the end, we run into upstate in the championship at home for a chance to go to the tournament. Like, we couldn't have wrote that any better, I don't think.
To the big dance on the line.
Anytime I see a video of people rushing the court or that final 5-6 seconds, I almost brings a tear to my eye, really, just thinking about what happened. I don't even remember the court rush, and I think I blacked out from adrenaline.
I love my team, man. We did this.
It was it's so fun. I mean, seeing everybody, just the staff, everybody's been a part of the program, but that aren't on the team. To see how much joy and they shared in the success as well, and that was part of the great feeling there, man.
When the horn went off, it probably still to this day might be the greatest floor rush in the history of championship basketball. Still to this day, if you watch it, the way in which those guys persevered through the year and believed. Because we had said it all the time. If you believe it, you can achieve it. If you see it, you can be it. If you view it, you can do it. We always said that in our program.
The Ospreys made their first ever appearance in the NCAA Division I tournament by winning the Atlantic Sun tournament for the first time.
One heck of a year, I think, for everybody. And like you said, putting UNF on the map, and then having Sarah Walsh come into the picture at the time she was, and then her being a UNF alum. So, it was just, the timing was crazy, and I think it was great.
But we were all very focused, locked in. Hey, we got a chance. We win this game. We play Duke. eventually they won the national championship. Like, this is a great opportunity for all of us. The school, get another game into the tournament, say we won an NCAA tournament game, you know, all that kind of stuff. We were thinking about it.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, who do they play? They play the winner of the first 4 game between North Florida and Robert Morris in Dayton, Ohio. North Florida, where we talked to them earlier today.
Just watching us, our name going up there for the NCAA tournament, even though it was a playing game, was just really, really cool, just them announcing our name. So that's something I can cherish with the guys and, you know, UNF forever. So that was very special to me.
Moments away from the start of Robert Morris and North Florida. Let's check out the starting lineups. And we're underway from Dayton. Driving to the rim, Nesbitt gets it started. They want to feed the shooters. Moore's one of those shooters. It's a triple. Dallas Moore shooting it at 39% from long range.
We came out and we were knocking everything down, making tons of threes, and just we were rolling.
One half of play complete.
And the Ospreys could not have played any worse.
The last 12 minutes, maybe it was fatigue, maybe it was a little bit of nerves. Who knows?
Watched it just like go away all at once. Like it was just like happened. It almost like slow motion. Like at least for me, it was like slow motion. Like dang, we got here, we had the game won, and you know we kind of relaxed and got to a certain point, and we just watched it fade.
The Colonials get the win over North Florida.
As a 16 seed in the NCAA tournament, they were defeated by fellow 16 seed Robert Morris in the first 4 play-in game in Dayton, Ohio. Nevertheless, the Ospreys drew unprecedented media attention both locally and nationally. That magical season brought on so much exposure and a new set of eyes to the program, which is only fitting that at that particular moment, the athletics department decided to ride that momentum. In what way? Well, a full rebrand, a new logo for the team, and some improvements to the place we call home, the Nest. Their success continued as the 2015 Ospreys began the season with a 93-81 upset at Illinois. It was the program's second win over a Big Ten conference opponent. As you can see, these state-of-the-art upgrades, I mean, they're simply beautiful. Who wouldn't want to play basketball in this arena? And that's exactly the feeling for the players behind me and those future hoopers ready to be future swoopers.
Next thing I know, I see on ESPN they're doing a special on ESPN about UNF and, you know, how they made their, you know, way to the NCAA tournament. And I'm just like, wow. So, you know, this is a legit school, you know.
Wajidu Minu, freshman of the year, one of the greatest players to ever play here. So I said, well, bring him to elite camp. Let's see how good he is.
And I balled out. And I, you know, had a lot of fun there. And as I was getting ready to leave, you know, to go back, they were like, whoa, hold up. You know, like, we really need to talk to you.
JT Escobar should have came here straight out of high school. We wanted him bad.
Basketball-wise, I was already kind of drawn to them because of the way the Coach Driscoll plays, and I'm a guy who can run and score and shoot and all those things. And that's obviously, you know, he's great with guys like that, and has developed incredible players like Dallas and all these guys, and so was drawn there basketball-wise. But then like the environment that he creates,
pretty much every aspect gave me really good vibes, and so I was just like, this must be the right decision for me.
Interesting statistic. When we won the regular season championship last year, we were only one of 27 teams in America in that 6-year period that won 3 regular season championships. One of 27. Only 2 of us won their last 2. So 15-16 and 19-20 with 2 completely different rosters.
The UNF Athletics Development Team is currently raising support for a new hospitality area where members of the Osprey Club and other special guests will be able to enjoy the games as well as hot food and cold drinks. Additional improvements and expansions for the arena being planned relate to the team's locker rooms and athlete health and wellness facilities. Despite the unprecedented changes in the sports world due to the COVID-19 pandemic, UNF Athletics has remained agile and made a point to embrace the changes. In fact, for the past year or so, change is something that the UNF Athletics Department has welcomed. Coach Lee Moon, UNF's athletic director, said he's been encouraged by the strength and perseverance UNF student athletes have shown while practicing, training, studying, and taking measures to minimize the risk of spreading the virus. Teams were reunited in August and practiced together throughout the fall semester while tackling the challenges of virtual learning and social distancing. Men's and women's basketball returned to play in November, and the rest of the Ospreys 17 teams have already started back or will be returning to play soon. The fall 2020 semester was like no other, which makes the return to play this spring so much sweeter for all of us.
If you look back at our 12-year history, Coach Kilcullen had a tough job going through the moratorium. I had to do it at a Division III school. It's tough. However, that ripple effect that we've made in the city is pretty powerful.
The spirit is emphasized in the lyrics of the UNF fight song. We are the UNF Ospreys. We're going to run, play, fight, and win. We are the UNF Ospreys. Our spirit will soar till the end. So keep an eye on the Ospreys. They're going to play with all their might. Now lift your voice for UNF. They're going to win this fight. Hey, don't forget to check out some of those silent auction items. Remember, all of the proceeds go to the UNF Athletics Department, and that supports scholarships for the UNF student athletes. I've been your host, Marcel Robinson, and on behalf of the UNF Alumni Association, swoop.